What's up, everybody? It's the Alex Leak and Friends NFL podcast back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got Dustin back on the show as always. Good to have you, Dustin.
Yeah, thanks for having me, bro, as always.
Absolutely. And man, I tell you what, we got a good episode on this week. This was a hell of a week of football, and there's storylines everywhere. A lot to break down, a lot to talk about. What was your thoughts on week 11, man? Just craziness all over the league and so much to talk about this week.
Yeah, like you said, man, so much craziness. Uh Teams that you didn't think were gonna get W's got to win, uh and teams who we know are good looked good. So
Well, this is my favorite time of the year as we get into, November, December football, and you start to see the teams start to separate. You got your great teams that are up there, and then you got teams that are fighting, that have already started the playoffs, like Green Bay and the Rams, that are like, man, we need to win out just to try to make the playoffs.
yep, I agree with you.
So, and speaking of the Packers, let's get it started right now. Talking about Thursday night football, the 6-3 Titans at the 4-6 Packers in Lambeau, backs against the wall. So I actually picked the Packers to win this game. Did you think Green Bay? I know you're a big Aaron Rodgers fan. Did you think Green Bay could get the win? They're at home playing the Titans. Should be a winnable game, right?
I mean, of course, anytime they're at Lambeau, it doesn't matter the opponent to me. I think they have a chance. Especially a team like Tennessee coming from the South when they had to go up there when it was like what 20 some degrees outside.
Yeah,
You know,
advantage
uh,
advantage Packers, you would think.
but to me though, Alex, the storyline of this game is if you watch them play, Aaron Rodgers did not play very good.
Well, we'll get into it. So Titans lead 14-6 at halftime, go on to win 27-17 in Lambeau. Ryan Tannehill played pretty well, throws for 300 plus yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick, and Derrick Henry is still a monster. I think a lot of people kind of tried to write Derrick Henry off after last year getting hurt, not looking quite the same in the playoff game, and he looked great in this game. Combines for 136 yards, 2 touchdowns, one rushing, one passing. How about that? How do you stop Derrick Henry when you're at the goal line and you know you're going to have to bring everybody to the line to stuff him, and then he stops on a dime and throws a little jump pass to a wide open tight end? I don't know how you defend that.
Well, the question is, you can't defend it because as a defensive coordinator, your mind is, I got to stack the box. I got to put, all 11 guys right here by the goal line to try to stop Derrick Henry. But, you know, let's, what a freaking sensational play call by Todd Downing.
Yeah, and you're starting to see that. That's something that's been a tight end play for a while. I think Vrabel carried it over from when Arthur Smith was there. But I remember in the playoffs that Derrick Henry, that same exact play, the jump throw at the goal line, because like you said, the defense has to stack the box. They have to sell out to stop the run, and then you leak a tight end out, and he's wide open for a touchdown. Great play call, like you said. You mentioned Todd Downing. Unfortunately, for the Titans, Downing celebrated a little too hard. Got arrested for a DUI post game.
Yeah, that's unfortunately you can't drink and drive, but maybe he was just a little bit too excited.
Yeah, hopefully he can stay out of trouble going forward. Not what you want to see. How about Titans rookie wide receiver Traylon Burks steps up, 7 catches for 111 yards. The two guys that we hadn't seen much so far this season, Traylon Burks and Christian Watson, and are now starting to step up their games, huh? Nice to see Traylon Burks getting some, good action out there, making some impact.
Yeah, he really stepped up when it mattered. I mean, I think what on their first or second possession, he had a beautiful deep pass that was thrown to him.
Yeah. And Tannehill, man, a lot of people like to hate on Tannehill, but I think he's a damn good quarterback when he's on. It's just about consistency, like anyone. When he's playing his best football, he can carve you up with the best in the league, in my opinion.
I mean, I agree because he's proven that, but he's also just to me so inconsistent game by game. Like he'll have a big game and then he'll have a game where he struggles. So I mean, if he can put together back to back, 3, 4 great performances in a row, then the Tennessee Titans, in my opinion, are championship contenders.
Yeah, and I mean they're 7-3, leading the division and looking to get back to the playoffs. I don't think they've. I could be wrong, but I don't think the Titans have missed the playoffs since Ryan Tannehill became their starter.
Yeah, and I think since Bravo has became the coach, right?
Yeah, yep. So you were talking about Aaron Rodgers struggling. He goes for 200 plus yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Aaron Jones held to just 60 combined yards. But a good game from Christian Watson again. He's caught 5 touchdowns in the last 2 games after zero before that. He's starting to get that chemistry with Christian Watson. Randall Cobb was back. He had some nice throws to Cobb. What did you see? Why did you think Aaron Rodgers had a bad game?
Well, it's because like so if you noticed if you break down the film a little bit, some of his throws were just very inaccurate. Like he had Lazard on a crossing route and he just straight up overthrew him without pressure in his face. And some of his throws to Aaron Jones were like in the ground. I mean, that's just not Roger. That's just not Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I mean, yes, but it's tough to say because I think what the Packers are dealing with a lot is a lack of chemistry, a lack of being on the same page with these receivers. Alan Lazard, he might have missed Alan Lazard, but Lazard also had a couple drops that were right in his hands too.
Yeah, that's
Um,
what I was about to say is Alan Lazard should be the leader in that wide receiver room. He's a veteran compared to everybody else. You have to catch the ball when it's thrown to you.
yeah, and he's just not. Remember in the offseason, going into the year, they were talking about how Alan Lazard was going to be an all pro this year, and it just hasn't worked out. Nice to see, Aaron Rodgers is still going to Cobb because he's got that chemistry with Cobb from all the years back in the day playing together. You're starting to see Christian Watson get going. Uh, they need Christian Watson, right? I mean, without his 5 touchdowns the last 2 games, this offense would look a lot worse, right?
Absolutely. And I also thought that the Packers got away from a little bit. They were making Aaron throw too much. Like you were running the ball pretty effectively with AJ Green or I mean AJ Dillon himself.
Yeah. That's the thing. The Packers need to be more run heavy these days. I know you got Aaron Rodgers, but you got a two-headed monster at the running back position. You need to use that. And but at the end of the day, it's tough because I don't think this Packers defense is nearly as good as they used to be. Losing Zadarius Smith was big,
Yeah.
and they just couldn't stop Derrick Henry. They couldn't stop Traylon Burks. Austin Hooper catches 2 touchdowns. The Titans kind of had their way. I mean, they could have easily put up 30 plus if they needed to.
Yep, that's for sure.
And Jair Alexander, I mean, there's video of Derrick Henry's first touchdown, the run, where Jair Alexander just pulls up. He wants no part of the tackle. And it's like, I think the Packers organization, the roster, those players, they're starting to feel like the season's over. You know what I mean? They're starting to show signs like they're giving in.
Yeah, I mean the season's still not over. If they can go on a streak and win the rest of what their 6, 7 games, they could possibly be a wild card.
I'm gonna go ahead. I think the season's over. I think the Packers are gonna miss the playoffs. And I'm looking at next week, week 12, at the Eagles on Sunday Night Football.
Ooh.
That's an awfully tough game. I think they're staring 4-8 right in the face, and I don't think 9-8 gets you into the playoffs this year. So I feel like the Packers are going to miss the playoffs, and where does Green Bay go from here? Does Aaron Rodgers retire if the Packers miss the playoffs, or does that bad taste in his mouth say, I can't go out like this? I need to go out making a run at a championship. But is Green Bay even committed to Aaron Rodgers like that? They could have done so much more at any point this season, at any point in the offseason to give Rodgers more weapons, and they just never did it.
Yeah, I don't think he retires because I think that championship is him not winning it right now is haunting him, and it's to me it's eating him alive. And I feel like he wants to go somewhere where he has a, a fair chance to win the title.
So maybe we see, is it going to get ugly again this offseason? Is Aaron Rodgers going to demand a trade? If I were him, I would. If I were him, I wouldn't have re-signed. I would have left a while ago. I think the Packers have made it clear the past 3 years that they're not trying to win a championship. They haven't
And
gotten any better since 3 years ago.
yeah, hear me out. I know it's early, but the perfect place for him, and it would be an instant title contenders is San Francisco, and that's no doubt about that.
San Francisco, and I thought you were going to say your Colts because honestly, you put Aaron Rodgers in Indy with Jonathan Taylor and those weapons. That's pretty good right there too, and a healthy Shaq Leonard.
It is pretty good, but I mean, like, I just feel like Aaron's gonna want to go home.
Yeah, if Aaron can make his way, well, how about this? If he can make his way to San Francisco, that's probably best case scenario. You know who might need a quarterback after this year?
L.A. Rams.
The LA Rams. And that could be something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I just don't see them parting ways with Stafford yet.
What if I told you, what if Stafford retires?
Ooh.
And we'll get into that here in a little bit. But that's something that I've been thinking about today and this week a decent amount. And we'll talk about that here a little bit more. The 6-4 Bengals at the 7-3 Titans. Big game coming up. Both teams trying to make the playoffs. Can Cincy go into Tennessee and get a big win, in your opinion?
Oh, yeah, yep. I'm gonna go with Cincy.
You're gonna go with Cincy with no Jamar Chase?
Yep.
Give me Tennessee. Give me the Titans to get a big win. Drop the Bengals down to 6-5. We'll see if that happens. Packers at Eagles. I don't know how anyone could sit here and pick the Packers to win that.
You know what? I am.
All right. Well, I mean, you did pick the Lions against the Giants, so you are crazy. I'll give you that.
I mean, the Commanders and Colts kind of exposed the Eagles.
They did, but the Colts should have won that game, and Philly still found a way. The Eagles are a damn good team, and I might be willing to say both the Packers and or the Commanders and Colts are both better than the Packers. I
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
I don't think Green Bay is very good this year.
oh, you're gonna have some people hitting your inbox when this is put out there.
That's fine. Look, but I think the record speaks for itself. 4-7. That's not a playoff team. Um, let's go Bears Falcons. Big game here. I mean, I wasn't that excited for it. Bears Falcons, two bad teams. Both teams expected to miss the playoffs. Bears jump out to a 17-7 first half lead, but the Falcons rally to win 27-24. And the Bears drop their fourth straight games. After being 3-4, the Bears are now 3-8. A lot of Bears fans are happy because they want to tank. They want the worst record possible and a high draft pick. But in the offseason, a lot of Bears fans going into the year we're talking playoffs. You were a little bit higher on this Bears team. Do you think they're a 3-8 ball club? Or they're better than that. They just haven't won games. What do you think?
I think they are better than a 3-8 ball club. If you watch them play, Justin Fields alone keeps them tries to keep them in most of these games. And yeah, they don't have the talent on offense, but I mean they've had they had a big win in New England, and a couple other wins that I think were pretty good win. So this team is maybe underachieving in my opinion.
Well, I think Justin Fields is the shit. I just don't think there's much around him. I think it's a bad O line. I think it's bad weapons, and I've said it all off season long that the roster is not competitive with the rest of the league. So Fields is making magic happen. He's doing all he can, but it's not resulting in wins because the team around him is bad. And then when you go and trade away Robert Quinn midseason and you trade away Roquan Smith, the defense got a whole lot worse, and the Bears become the first team in NFL history to score 28 points in 3 straight games, 28 or more points in 3 straight games, and lose all three.
Wow.
Yep. So, I mean, I was not a fan of the Roquan Smith trade, and this is what it's led to bad defense. So, I mean, the Bears are tanking, and I'm okay with it. Honestly, so Justin Fields suffers an injury late in this game, suffers an AC joint sprain in his non-throwing shoulder. He's day to day, and a lot of Bears fans have been talking on Twitter, and I'm with them. I think we should shut Justin Fields down for the season. I don't think we have anything to gain from playing Justin Fields any more games this year. We've seen the special, we've seen the potential, we know what he's capable of. I would sit him. He's taking hits at a rookie David Carr pace. You remember David Carr with the Texans? He set an
Yeah.
NFL record for getting hit behind a
Wow.
really bad O line, and we all remember David Carr turned out to be a bust. So Fields is on that pace. He's taken tremendous amount of hits, and so I said it at the time. I anticipated an injury was going to happen. You can't take that many hits and not get injured throughout the course of the season. So I would absolutely shut Justin Fields down. Trevor Simeon time, and let's tank and get a bunch of losses. I'm cool with 3-14 or 4-13. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, if you're trying to make your roster better, then sitting Justin Fields is probably good, just so you know, because who who's the backup there in Chicago?
Trevor Simeon.
Okay, Trevor Simeon. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to win many games with him, so
No, and especially with how bad the defense is. And what would you do? I mean, Fields just got injured, you know. Would you be comfortable putting Fields back out there, or do you agree that what is there to gain from playing on a 3-8 team? What is there to gain from winning 5 or 6? If you sit Fields, maybe you win 3 or 4 and get a higher draft pick.
yeah, I mean, go ahead and sit him. I mean, the only thing to gain really would be experience and a little bit more of a chemistry with the receivers going next year, but we don't know if those guys will still be there.
Exactly. And experience, I mean, when you're taking that many hits, is experience good? That's more mileage. What you would know better than anyone, being a Colts fan, seeing the beating that Andrew Luck took all those years he was here in Indy, and then that forced him to retire early. If you could go back, I think you would have sat Andrew Luck the second half of a couple of those seasons, or done a much better job to surround him with protection, right?
Yeah, for sure. Because man, it broke my heart seeing how much pain that guy went through.
Yep. And it's tough. So, and you don't want any quarterback taking that many hits. It's a recipe for ruining a quarterback talent. So, for the Falcons, they get a big win, improved to 5-6. Um, Cordero Patterson returns his ninth kickoff for a touchdown, an NFL record. How about Cordero Patterson, man? He's balling.
Yeah, uh, modern day Devin Hester.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm still upset the Bears got rid of him. There was no reason to get rid of Cordell Patterson when we did.
He's a Mister Do It All.
Absolutely. He's a lot like Debo Samuel, right?
Yep, he's what you call that is a hybrid player.
Yep. Well, it's funny. I remember those talks about Valus Jones, rookie Valus Jones, being called Debo Light or Cordero Light. Shit. Bayless Jones doesn't have anything on either of these two guys, man.
Oh,
Uh,
you be easy on the rookie, bro.
man, I'm ready to cut that rookie tomorrow. I never wanted him in Chicago, but you know what they say. Um, Bad news for the Falcons. They're 5-6, a big win. You know, the Bucks, they're only a half game behind Tampa Bay, but they lose tight end Kyle Pitts. He suffers an MCL sprain, placed on IR, out 4 weeks. That's a tough loss for Atlanta.
Yeah, it is, but then again, we've been talking these last couple weeks. He really hasn't had much production, so
Yeah, and we'll see if Michael Pruitt can step in and get more done. So that sets up the 5-6 Falcons at the 6-5 Commanders. The way the Commanders and Taylor Henneke have been playing, I say give me the Commanders at home.
yeah. Man, Commanders have a chance to be 7-5.
Yeah.
How about
It,
that without Carson Wentz?
well,
Well,
it all started with that move, right? Once Wentz got hurt and Henneke came in, they started winning.
yep. And again, I've liked Taylor Henneke from the start.
Yep. So 3-8 Bears at the 6-4 Jets. Now some news, and we'll get talk more about this. Maybe Zach Wilson doesn't start. I expect Zach Wilson to start, but the fact that there's even a question is very concerning if you're a Jets fan, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know where this rumor started. If it came
I'll
from
tell you where I'll tell you where it started. You know where it started?
you were telling me Twitter, right?
No, the
Or
head coach.
okay,
The,
yeah, Robert
the
Saleh saying he's not committing to him.
yeah, the Jets head coach started that rumor. That's
I think
very concerning.
I think this is just more of a. I'm saying this to try to get him to step up.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
and there's no reason to believe that if Zach Wilson starts, the Jets should be able to beat the Bears and get to 7-4. And 7-4 is an awfully damn good record for the New York Jets.
absolutely, and I mean, if you bench Zach Wilson, what is it like Mike White or
Or,
uh
or Joe Flacco.
yeah, you may lose your chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about the Jets coming up, but give me the Jets over the Bears. Like I said, I don't see any advantage to Justin Fields playing. I would sit him, place Trevor Simeon, try to lose as many as possible. Um, I mean, imagine how pissed we'll be, bro, if they put Fields back out there and knock on wood, he suffers a major injury. You know what I mean? Then we'll
Yeah,
be like, you should have been tanking. You shouldn't have been playing him. And then he got majorly hurt. What was the advantage, So a lot can change if something like that happens. That's why I would absolutely shut him down.
I agree with you. That's a very good choice.
3-7 Panthers at the 6-3 Ravens. We've been talking about it for a while. Baker Mayfield finally getting the start, which in my opinion he should have been starting all along, right? In Carolina.
Yeah, for sure.
This is a sloppy game. I'm interested what Pablo thought, as this game's tied 3-3 mid fourth quarter. The Ravens finally pull it out 13-3, but they definitely played down to their competition against a bad Panthers team. Lamar Jackson combines for 200 plus yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Demarcus Robinson leads the team with 9 catches for 128 yards. And you're starting to see the Ravens defense play really good ball. They hold the Panthers to just 3 points. They played really good. Who they play a couple weeks ago? Was it Cleveland?
I believe so.
Yeah, and shut them down. So it's like the addition of not just Roquan Smith, but Jason Pierre-Paul also with a sack and a pick in this game. The Ravens have kind of quietly loaded up the defense with veterans, Jason Pierre-Paul, and I love the linebacker combo of Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith. That is elite athleticism and playmaking from the linebacking position.
Yeah, absolutely.
How are you feeling about this Ravens team? They kind of played with their food against Carolina, just beating them 13-3. But that defense is kind of giving them some wiggle room to where Lamar doesn't have to put up 30 points every game. That defense can kind of hold their own.
Yeah, and I mean that's a big part of the formula to trying to win a championship
Yeah.
is
That's
having a
what,
defense that's clicking on all cylinders. And I mean, yeah, Lamar don't have to do much, but you're gonna have those games, Alex. I mean, it's week 11. Carolina is. You're just gonna have those games where you get into the season later, and a team that you don't expect is gonna play you tough.
yeah. I mean, whether it is whether you didn't show up or the team that you played better than you thought, there's always situations like that, where the game doesn't go quite your way. And you gotta, if you have a good defense, that helps keep the score down and keep you competitive, keep the game within reach. And that's what happened here. Baker Mayfield combines for 200 plus yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks, but he played better than the stats indicate. I thought Baker played pretty well, but Carolina, they seem to be in full tank mode as they have announced that Sam Darnold is going to start next week at home against the Broncos.
Yeah, that decision proves that they're probably just trying to go get a draft pick.
Yeah, they want to go get the quarterback, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with Baker Mayfield going forward. Um, yeah, Broncos at Panthers with Sam Darnold starting. A tough loss once again for Denver. But I'll tell you what, if the Broncos can't win in week 12 against Sam Darnold led Panthers, then the season's really over. And I think my prediction is if the Broncos lose on Sunday, Nathaniel Hackett gets fired. That's a fireable loss. But I think the Broncos win that. I don't see how the Broncos don't beat the Panthers. But again, I thought the Broncos should have beat the Raiders this last week.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I just don't. The season's coming to an end. I think they're just gonna wait till the end of the season.
Um, a very well connected Broncos insider said he thinks that it's getting to the point where they're going to fire him mid-season.
Ooh,
He's
I
been
mean,
saying all year long the Broncos won't fire him mid-season. They're not going to do that. But after the loss to the Raiders, he said, all right, I think it might happen now."
so
So,
is it the fact that the Broncos were ready to win now and are struggling, or I mean, because they picked up Russell Wilson with intentions to win the Super Bowl, right?
yes, they're far way too talented to be 3-7. That's what it boils down to. And you're talking about a rookie head coach that was probably hired with the thoughts of getting Aaron Rodgers and not Russell Wilson. So it's pretty easy to explain it away as a bad fit, along with the fact that Hackett seems to have a lack of understanding of situational awareness and game management at the end of games and not being able to beat bad teams. That to me is a easy decision. I would fire Nathaniel Hackett very soon. I don't think it's a good fit. And yeah, they're too talented. The Broncos should absolutely be a playoff team. And 3-7 is just unacceptable.
Yeah.
So, um 7-3 Ravens at the 3-7 Jags. Another good opportunity for the Ravens to get to 8-3. That would be a bad loss. You don't want to lose to Jacksonville. Go take care of business, get a big road win.
You know what? I think I'm picking Jacksonville here.
Well, so I've been taking Jacksonville in those games. A lot of games similar to that. I've taken them. And Jacksonville just hasn't gotten it done. I thought Jacksonville was better than this, and they're still seemingly a year or two away. So give me the Ravens. I like the way the Ravens are playing, at least on the defensive side of the ball. And then if the Ravens don't have a really bad offensive performance again, if they step it up and perform better, they should win that game.
Yeah, it just seems to me like this is the type of game that the Jags would come to play for.
Yeah, typically yes, I agree. That's a game I would typically pick Jacksonville, but give me Baltimore. And I'm pretty high on the Ravens. You know, if they win their division, get a home playoff game, I'm gonna be rooting for the Ravens come January. Um, Bills Browns in a game moved to Detroit because of the snowstorm in Buffalo. One of the worst moves of the season. I'm gonna hate this move all season, man. Soft as hell that we allow some snow to move the game out of Buffalo.
Yeah,
As a fan of the NFL who's seen a lot of snow games, I thought this was a complete cop out by the NFL.
yeah, for sure. You know, I think it had more to do with the traveling though. You know, like fans probably wouldn't have been able to get to the game and all that kind of stuff. So
I guarantee you fans would have made it to that game. Fans love snow games. Bills Mafia is gonna show up. No need to be soft and move it to Detroit. Um,
how about how about Bills Mafia fans going there and some Detroit people seeing them go through tables and stuff.
yeah. Bills fans traveled like crazy to Detroit, so it was nice to see. They showed up. Um, the Browns actually lead 10-3 in the first half, but the Bills rallied to win 31-23. Get a good win. I mean, that would have been a bad loss. So good on the Bills for showing up and getting the win. Josh Allen, 200 plus yards, one touchdown, no turnovers. Good game from Devin Singletary. Jacoby Brissett throws for 300 plus, three touchdowns. Amari Cooper, 8 catches, 113 yards, two touchdowns. For the Browns, Deshaun Watson returns to practice and expected to make his Cleveland debut in Week 13. What are your thoughts on that? If you're the Browns, why are you gonna play Deshaun Watson? I mean, the season's about done, you know?
Yeah, that's a tough situation.
Yeah, you're 3-7, likely to about to be 3-8. Um, I just don't see. I guess they want to play Deshaun Watson for the home fans. He's already missed a full season and a half, so you kind of want to see if you can knock the rust off. But knock on wood, he doesn't get hurt or anything, right?
I would bring him in personally just for because I think that's what he would want to do.
Yeah, I think he wants to play a couple games, and then he doesn't need to finish the season. Play a couple games. They're likely going to lose most of those, and then shut him down for the final 2 weeks or so. The 5-5 Bucks at the 3-7 Browns. I mean, a tough game for Tampa Bay. Actually, like it's tough to go to Cleveland. The weather might not be the best, and you got to deal with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, um, and Amari Cooper and those guys. I'm gonna pick the Bucks to go into Cleveland and get a win, but that's a good test for Tampa Bay, in my opinion. Do you think?
Yeah, for sure.
So hopefully they go in there and get to 6-5, and then Bills at Lions. So you picked the Lions to go into New York and get a big win. I was shocked that you picked it. I was shocked that they got the win. So the Lions are on a 3-game winning streak. You said earlier you're going to keep on picking the Lions. This is against your Bills, who you picked to win the Super Bowl. So where are you going here?
I am going Detroit.
All
It's at
right.
on Thanksgiving. They're hot right now. Detroit is hot. They're gonna go 5-6, and they're gonna keep staying hot.
Well, here's where I'll double down on last week. Last week I said you were crazy, and I picked the Giants to win by double digits. I'm gonna sound like a broken record. Dustin, you're crazy. Give me the Bills by double digits.
Oh, double digits.
You you think the Lions can actually match up with the Bills?
Look, it's not about matching up. It's about who has the momentum, and I think Detroit's hot. Okay.
I think matchups matter a lot. And if you're going talent for talent, the Bills should win this by 20 plus.
It's National Football League, bro.
That's fine. But the Lions are not good enough to win four in a row. Give me the Bills by double digits. I'm shocked the Lions are 4-6, but again, I picked them to go 5-12, and I stand by that. So we'll see how they finish the rest of the year.
What
So any
is it in
game,
these Lions this
uh,
year, bro?
what?
What is it with me and these Lions this year?
What? Believing in them?
Yeah.
I don't know, but they're not that good. So, um, I'm shocked they're on a 3-game winning streak, but I don't expect it to last. Give me the Bills. Give me the Bucks to go into Cleveland. Are you gonna take? That seems like a Browns pick for you. Bucks at Browns.
No, the Bucks are another hot team, and I think Brady knows November, December, and January is when it starts to matter.
Yeah,
And there's no more playing around. So I think Tom Brady goes into Cleveland and wins pretty comfortably.
nice. Um, 5-5 Commanders at the 1-7-1 Texans. Commanders jump out to a 20-0 halftime lead and hang on to win 23-10. Taylor Henneke continues to do his thing. The thing I like most about Taylor Henneke, as opposed to Carson Wentz, is Henneke doesn't turn the ball over, man. It's rare that he turns the ball over. And the Commanders have a pretty good defense. So if you can win the turnover battle and just put enough points, you're going to win a lot of games, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
So I like what the Commanders are doing. Here's a good stat for you. Carson Wentz as starter was 2-4, as it was his record as starter for the Commanders. What's Taylor Henneke's record as starter? Take a guess. In 5 games.
I believe they've only lost one game, correct?
Yep, he's 4-1 as a starter. And I know Carson Wentz is healthy, but man, you got to ride the hot hand. We've been saying it for a couple weeks now. Taylor Henneke is the better player.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Montez Sweat records 2 sacks, 6 on the season, and corner Kendall Fuller, younger brother of Kyle Fuller, records his first career pick six against the Texans early in this game. Nice to see Kendall Fuller getting it done.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I like about them, man. That team, they have good defense, a sneaky good defense.
Yeah, and don't look now, but Chase Young is set to return from his torn ACL, so we should see Chase Young out there next week.
Oh man, it's just gonna get better.
Yep. So, taking on the Falcons, advantage Commanders. That's a game they should win and a good opportunity to get to 7-5. Um, Texans fall to 1-8-1. They'll go to Miami to take on the Dolphins. That should be an easy win for Miami to get to 8-3.
Miami by 20.
Yeah, I mean they should. Um, 8-1 Eagles at your 4-5-1 Colts. I picked the Colts to win. You did too, right?
Yeah.
And they were winning for most of this game. They led 13-3 in the fourth quarter, but the Eagles come through in the clutch with a game-winning touchdown drive to win 17-16. Um, what did you think about that game? And was it just the Eagles, showing up, proving that they're the better team on that final drive?
A little bit of both. I think that the Colts defense choked because Nick Sirianni ran three of the same plays. Two of them were converted for a fourth down when it was, or converted into a from fourth down to a first down, and then the other one was the same play, which was a quarterback keep for a touchdown.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
You gotta have a quarterback spy on him, right?
yeah, for sure. And I mean, if they did the same play twice, and balls at the 5 yard line, they're gonna try and do that same thing again, especially with the speed and athleticism of somebody like Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, and it would certainly help if you had Shaq Leonard, and I think that's a big reason why the Colts defense hasn't been quite as good this year. Is Shaq Leonard's the leader of the defense, and without him, if he's out there, maybe he's tracking Jalen Hurts down there.
Quite as good. We're ranked in the top 7 in total defense.
All right, but if you have Shaq Leonard, you might be number one. I mean, are you gonna tell me Shaq Leonard's not a massive loss?
Oh, that's a huge loss. That's probably our best defensive player next to Stephon Gilmore and Kenny Moore.
Yeah. So, you
You know,
know,
but
having him would definitely help.
by the way, yes, the Colts are 4-6-1, but by the looks of our schedule, if we can go on a run, we have a good chance still here.
We'll see. Indy still needs to prove they can win the games they're supposed to win. They've had a couple of these this year. They're competitive. They're a lot more competitive now than they were a couple weeks ago. But playoffs is going to be hard to do with 6 losses already on the in the books. You pretty much need to win out. You know what I mean?
We can do that.
We'll see. Jalen Hurts, 250 plus yards, 2 touchdowns. Devontae Smith, 6 catches, 78 yards. Brandon Graham makes up for, remember that game ending mistake against the Commanders?
Yes, when he hit Heineke.
Yep. He makes up for it this time with a game clinching sack on Matt Ryan. So, Brandon Graham, we knew it. He's one of the leaders of that defense. So, it's nice to see him respond and be the reliable weapon that we know him to be, right?
Yeah, and on the Colts drive when I believe Indy brought it all the way down to the 5, and then Ryan got sacked all the way back to the 19. And what's crazy is Matt Ryan should have threw that ball away.
Yeah. Now I don't think that was on the final drive
No,
because
no,
you only needed a field goal to win it.
no, yeah, that wasn't the final drive, but I was talking about on the drive before when we could have scored a touchdown to, you know,
Yeah.
blow the lead open. And instead of, I don't know why you don't run the ball when it's on the 5 yard line, but
Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, as much as that's the modern day NFL, and that's why it frustrates me because we were both hating on Frank Reich, and Frank Reich would be easy to blame for that decision, but Frank Reich's gone. And now you got Jeff Saturday making those same decisions.
yep.
And it's just frustrating sometimes the decision making by these coaching staffs. Um, Matt Ryan had a good game, 200 plus yards, no touchdowns, no turnovers. Most importantly, I believe since he's been back, he hasn't turned the ball over yet.
Nope.
And that was the big thing that Frank Reich used to bench him. So Jonathan Taylor playing better as well, combines for 94 yards and a touchdown. Yannick Ngakwe records 1.5 sacks and a forced fumble, 6.5 on the season. And here's something I noticed. Kicker Chase McLaughlin, he goes 3 for 4 on field goals. But man, that one missed field goal hurts because if he made all four, I think the Colts likely win. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
So, as good as he has been playing, that one missed field goal came back to bite him in the end. And that's going to happen, man. It's so tough to beat, an 8-1, 9-1 team like the Eagles that you have to play almost perfect football. Like we say it all the time. It's so hard to win in the NFL. One little mistake here or there can affect wins and losses.
For sure.
4-7 Packers at the 9-1 Eagles on Sunday Night Football. I mean, give me Philly. I think the Eagles will put up a fight. I think it'll be a good game, but give me the Eagles in the end.
Yeah, give me Green Bay.
Give you Green Bay, all right. And then 3-7 Steelers at the 4-6-1 Colts on prime time Monday Night Football. Advantage Colts. I think the Colts, they're the favorite. They need to take care of business, get that dub.
Yeah, I think Indy wins. Pittsburgh is a decent team, but they're not like, you know.
They almost, keyword almost, they kept it close with Cincy. But yeah, I mean, the Colts should be able to win that. Um, 6-3 Jets at the 5-4 Patriots. This is an interesting game here. Lots to talk about. So the game has been tied at 3-3 all game. It comes down to the final 26 seconds. The Jets punt the ball away, and rookie corner Marcus Jones returns the punt 84 yards for the game-winning touchdown. How about that, bro? First punt return touchdown of the season, and it comes with 26 seconds left in the game.
Yeah. Oh man, that's something that you don't see every day, especially in the NFL.
Yeah, and that's something that we've come to appreciate from Bill Belichick coach teams. They are solid in all three phases. They beat you with all three phases, and the special teams, the offense couldn't do it. The defense kept them in the game, and the special teams won them the game, you know?
Yep. Are they considered dangerous yet?
Oh yeah. At 6-4, absolutely. The Patriots keep an eye on New England. They're right there in that division with anybody. Big win over the Jets. They complete the sweep. You know, going into this game, it was a big game. At home, it was kind of like a must win for New England because you had the 6-3 Jets who are, playing better than people thought they would. And you get a big win. So now you're tied with the Jets record wise. Plus, you have the sweep. So you're ahead of the Jets now. And now you can try to build on this. And they'll be playing a big Thanksgiving night game at the 8-2 Vikings. So that's gonna be a really big game. 6-4 Patriots at the 8-2 Vikings on Thanksgiving night.
Yeah. It's gonna be huge, and it just makes me wonder where the Vikings are mentally.
I'll tell you where the Vikings are about to be. Not feeling themselves after they lose to New England on Thanksgiving night. Give me the Patriots.
Oh no, I'm going. I'm going Minnesota. They're pissed off.
They should be. How the hell do you get beat the way they did? But let's stay on topic. I mean, the Patriots offense was sloppy. The home fans actually boo the team after a turnover on downs late in the third quarter. They nearly lost a critical home divisional game, but so they need to play better on offense, but a big win. Um, Matthew Judon continues to lead the league in sacks with 13 already. Judon is doing his thing in New England. Career
Have,
high 15 sacks.
having a massive year.
Yep. Part of the issue for New England and why this game came down to the wire, kicker Nick Folk goes 1 for 3 on field goals. They need to get better production out of the kicker.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Jets were historically bad on offense. Zach Wilson combines for just 103 yards. They had more punts than they had first downs in this game.
My goodness.
Yep. Asked post game if he let the defense or his teammates down, quarterback Zach Wilson said, "quote No." Um, Josh Allen a couple weeks ago was asked if he let his teammates down, and he said yes. Anytime your quarterback plays like shit, you have a much less chance of winning the game. Wouldn't that have been a much more professional answer from Zach Wilson?
Yeah, I mean, if you combine for 103 yards, you gotta own that and
Yep.
hold yourself accountable.
Yep. You got to stand up there in front of the media and take responsibility for it. Zach Wilson didn't want to, and I'm sure he's getting talked to by the coaching staff and the Jets organization after that.
Yeah,
Uh, a,
uh,
a few teammates had shit to say. Defensive end John Franklin Myers, I believe is his name, liked a tweet, kind of disparaging those comments, and then get rookie wide receiver Garrett Wilson took to Twitter calling the offensive performance unacceptable. What do you think?
yeah. I mean, again, 103 yards for combined for a quarterback is not very good. But
Yeah,
when your
yeah,
teammates
yeah.
when your teammates are calling you out and showing signs of calling you out and not trusting you, then there's a problem.
Yeah, it's early in Zach Wilson's career. And the Jets are 6-4. They're overachieving, and this shouldn't be a conversation. You can, and I think a lot of it would go away if Zach Wilson took responsibility for it. Head coach Robert Saleh called the second half offense, quote, dog shit. Um, and when you got teammates kind of turning on you a little bit, Zach Wilson needs to be a lot more professional, both on the field and off, and be the leader that this organization expects from him. Um, but the Jets have to start him next week, right?
Yeah, you have to start him the whole rest of the season unless you feel like playoffs are not happening. But you're in a pretty good spot right now.
Multiple NFL analysts are calling for the Jets to move on from Zach Wilson after this year already. I
He's got
saw,
and
huh?
four. He's got you at 6-4. Did the Jets fans ever think they would be 2 games above 500? Absolutely not.
Here's an interesting stat. Zach Wilson in 7 games has 4 touchdown passes. Remember early in the season when Joe Flacco was starting?
Yeah,
He started 3 games. In those 3 games, Joe Flacco threw for 5 touchdowns. So
yeah.
Flacco has more passing touchdowns on the year than Zach Wilson.
But you're 6-4 though
Yeah.
with Zach.
Um, you could argue that you're 6-4 because of the defense and Brees Hall. And now Brees Hall is hurt and you're losing game, you know?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying, like at the moment, he's doing enough to get it done.
Yeah, he didn't on Sunday, so it starts to be a concern going forward. You can struggle as long as you still win, and so we'll see. But Jeff Schwartz said he would be ready to move on from Zach Wilson. He thinks that the Jets should start looking at quarterback. And then Damian Woody, who I believe is a former Jet player, said he's seen absolutely nothing thus far to say that Zach Wilson's the franchise quarterback. You know?
Yeah,
So
I mean,
interesting times in New York.
yeah, I agree. But man, you're 6-4. You have to stick with him.
Well, and winning cures all, right? So if the Jets go take care of business and beat a bad Bears team and get to 7-4, then we can all chill out in New York. But if they lose that game, if Justin Fields plays and the Bears beat the Jets, imagine the shitstorm that's going to be happening in New York.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That media is freaking crazy.
So the Patriots are on taking a 3-game winning streak to Minnesota. Minnesota coming off one of the biggest losses probably in franchise history. So something's gonna break. Either the Patriots winning streak or the Vikings, who we all thought were contenders, might start a losing streak. So Thanksgiving night's gonna be a lot of fun either way.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's go to this game. Rams at Saints. Matthew Stafford cleared on Friday ahead of this game, past concussion protocol. Nearly missed 2 games because of a concussion. He starts and he leaves the game in concussion protocol. Back-to-back concussions for Matthew Stafford. He's up there in age, late in his career. Man, when I see that, I start to think this might be ahead of your time, but before your time. I start to think of Steve Young late in his career, Troy Aikman, Dan Marino, when late in their career they started having more and more concussions. And I worry for Matthew Stafford. His wife was upset after the first concussion. Imagine how the Stafford family is feeling now.
Yeah, I mean, but it's football. He probably should have sat longer. If I was the Rams, I might just shut him down for the rest of the season.
Yeah. He's likely to miss next week. And whose job is that then to, you know, is that on the Rams? Should the Rams have sat Stafford another game?
Yeah, I mean, that could have went back to the Tua situation.
Yeah, and it's weird because if Stafford clears concussion protocol, then as a head coach and as an organization, you're like, well, he's good to go. Let's put him out there. But then when he goes and gets a concussion that same day, it's like, uh-oh. Now we need to take a whole different approach. Remember how the Dolphins were patient with Tua after those two concussions?
Yep.
Sat him for like I believe 3 weeks. So it's going to be interesting. I agree with you. The Rams are 3-7, likely to be 3-8. They're not going into Arrowhead and winning, so they're going to be 3-8. I would shut Stafford down, and you know what? If I'm the Staffords, if I'm Kelly Stafford, if I'm Matthew Stafford, I think there's going to be a lot of talk the rest of this season about retirement. I really do. I think we might have seen the last of Stafford.
Ooh, I have to disagree though, man, because I think he's still got a little bit left in the tank.
Well, talent wise, I agree. He's got plenty left in the tank, talent wise. But is he willing to go, risk concussions and all that? He's already won his Super Bowl. What more does Matthew Stafford have to prove? I think he could, if he wants, if him and his family are ready, he could very easily retire after this year.
Look, what does he have to prove? Well, hear me out, okay? So you win one Super Bowl, that puts you in the Hall of Fame. You win two, you're first ballot.
Yeah, but let me go ahead and say Stafford's not winning two Super Bowls. I think the one he got was fluky enough as it is. So
Ooh.
I would retire. I would be happy with the one championship that you probably never thought you were gonna get after all those years in Detroit. And I would enjoy retirement and enjoy my family and go into the broadcast booth or get involved somewhere like that. I think in my opinion, Stafford's proven everything he's had to do. He broke records with Calvin Johnson. He nearly broke records with Cooper Cup. He won a championship. I don't see anything more to prove. If concussions are starting to be a problem, shut it down and enjoy retirement, in my opinion. And I'm not saying that because I want him to. I'm saying that because I think it's likely. I honestly think if I were going to make my prediction right now, I think Stafford retires after this season.
Ooh, that's a bold take.
Yeah. So we'll see. I agree with you. He's got the talent to play another few years, but does he want to? That's the question. And can he keep his wife happy enough to keep doing it? Look at Tom Brady and Giselle. Tom Brady chose football over staying married, pretty much.
Yep.
So does Stafford want to make that same decision? So it'll be interesting to see. For the Saints, they get a big win. That division's still up in the air. They get to 4-7. Andy Dalton throws 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. And they get a big win. They'll be at the 49ers, though, in week 12. I think the Niners are playing some of the best football in the league. I think they get the win, and the Saints fall to 4-8. And at that point, the season's about done. I mean, if the Saints lose and the Bucks win in week 12, I think you can pretty much put a wrap on it.
Yeah, for sure. Bucks are gonna win that division again.
Yeah, I mean they should. They're the most talented team. So, um, for the Rams, they waive running back Daryl Henderson. Surprising move there. Cam Akers getting some run in this game. The Rams will go to Arrowhead. Likely Bryce Perkins is going to get the start. I mean, there's a blowout, right?
Yeah.
So the Rams. I mean, yeah, you fall to 3-8 if you're the Rams. Shut it down. Shut Stafford down. Play your young guys and try to get a high draft pick, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, it surprises me how bad they've been. Like, I don't know the stat exactly, but this has to be one of the worst Super Bowl hangovers in NFL history, right?
It is. I've got the stat right here. 3-7 is the worst 10-game start by a defending champion in NFL history.
Wow.
And that's crazy to think about because you go back to those Denver Broncos when half the team retired after they won their second championship in a row. Elway was gone. I think Shannon Sharp was gone. Terrell Davis, you know.
Yeah.
So I think Terrell Davis was still there, but I know all their main guys retired after that second year. Um, let's go Lions Giants, man, and one of the more improbable outcomes, and it's explainable, and we'll break this down. The Lions jump out to a 24-6 third quarter lead, hang on to win 31-18 in MetLife. The Lions' third straight win. Credit to the Lions as they came out ready to go and put up a big lead and then hold on to win. Goff throws for 150 plus yards, no touchdowns, no turnovers. Jamal Williams rushes for 3 touchdowns. He leads the NFL with 12 rushing touchdowns. That's pretty surprising.
Well, I told you at the beginning of the season, I think he was going to have a big year.
Well, I mean, he's getting a lot of targets in the red zone. I still don't think Jamal Williams is a top 5 running back by any means.
No, but
Um,
he's a top 8 running back and will
a
get the job.
top 8?
Yes.
Nah, I don't think he's top 20.
Oh,
um,
boy.
but he's got the touchdowns to go with it. So, he's getting a lot of rushing touchdowns. But I mean, there's backups in the league I'd rather have over Jamal Williams. You don't agree? I mean, who would you rather have, AJ Dillon or Jamal Williams?
Well, I mean, Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams?
Yes.
Okay, give me AJ Dillon. Who would you rather have? Tony Pollard or Jamal Williams?
Ooh. Man, Pollard's a beast.
Well, he's a number 2 running back. So give me Pollard. Who would you rather have, Khalil Herbert or Jamal Williams?
Oh, Jamal Williams. Not even close.
Give me Khalil Herbert. Uh, who would you rather have, Jamal Williams or Alexander Madison?
Jamal Williams.
Give me Alexander Madison.
Oh, boy.
But to his credit, Jamal Williams, there's only 3 running backs in the NFL with double-digit rushing touchdowns. Can you name them?
You said what?
There's only 3 running backs in the NFL with double-digit rushing touchdowns. Can you name them?
If I could guess, let me go with Derrick Henry,
Yep.
Nick Chubb,
Yep.
and
I mean, this should be pretty easy since we were just talking about him.
yeah, Jamal Williams.
Yeah, that's pretty good company. But I mean, in no way is Jamal Williams in that same conversation with Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry.
No, but I mean, he is okay. I'm gonna say top 10 because there's not really once you get to 6 or 7, there's not really much guys that you can say are better than him.
I mean, I can go top 20, but we
Uh,
don't have time for that. We don't got time for all that. Who would you rather have, Kareem Hunt or Jamal Williams?
that's a tough one. I mean,
That's
Kareem Hunt could be a starter anywhere he goes.
exactly. That's a pretty easy one, to be honest.
You know, and and that just tells you how much better Chubb is.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but anyways, um, Aiden Hutchinson, man, he is having a good rookie year. An interception and a fumble recovery in this game. There's only 2 players in the NFL right now that have 2+ sacks and 2+ interceptions. Only 2 players. Aiden Hutchinson and Roquan Smith.
Yeah. Aiden has so far he's living up to what he came out of Michigan.
Yeah, and it would help if Daniel Jones didn't throw the ball right to Aiden Hutchinson too. Um, and that's where it's explainable. So, are the Lions A great team? No. Should the Giants have won this game? Absolutely. And what have I said the last couple weeks? Why the Giants are winning? The
Is
Giants aren't.
because
Go ahead.
the Giants win when Daniel Jones don't turn the football over.
Yep. And one other key, Saquon Barkley carries them, right?
Yep. Yep, absolutely.
And in this game, Daniel Jones turned the ball over twice, and Saquon Barkley was held to just 35 combined yards.
Wow.
So, credit to the Lions defense for holding Saquon Barkley down. They probably came in with that mindset. Let's shut Saquon down and make Daniel Jones beat us. And then Daniel started turning the ball over, and it was a wrap.
Yeah. And by the way, love him or hate him, that's three in a row for my boy Jared Goff.
What, wins?
Yeah.
We gonna put this win on Jared Goff when he barely throws for 150?
He's a quarterback. He's one bus.
Well, I can't wait for next week when we do this so that we can compare Jared Goff to Josh Allen on Thanksgiving. That's what I want to do.
That's not fair.
Oh, isn't it fair? I thought Jared Goff was a good quarterback now. You're
He
talking about three in a row for Jared Goff. Josh Allen doesn't have three in a row right now.
yeah, but Jared Goff's not Josh Allen level, bro.
Oh, I'm surprised to hear you say that. Is Jared Goff prime Aaron Rodgers too?
No.
You know what? All this Aiden Hutchinson talk, I have a different favorite rookie on the Lions. You know who that is?
Let's see. Let me go back to their drafts.
You're not gonna guess him, and not a lot of people are talking about him.
Because it's not Jamison Williams.
Nope. Although he's about to be back, so that's some good news for Detroit.
You might have to tell me this one, Alex.
Rookie safety Kirby Joseph.
Oh, yeah, okay. The guy who picked off Rodgers.
Yup, he's got 3 interceptions and 2 forced fumbles this season.
Man, that might be a good pickup.
Yeah, he's balling. Um, Bad news for the Giants. You lose to the Lions. It doesn't get any more bad news than that. But let me pile on top of it for you, New York fans. You lose wide receiver Wandale Robinson for the season with a torn ACL. He was the Giants' leading receiver on Sunday. So that's a big loss. And then one of your starting corners, Adoree Jackson, is out 4 to 6 weeks with an MCL sprain.
Oh, yeah. It's a pretty big loss, too.
Here we go, bro. This is where the Giants collapse. It's coming. The Giants are going to miss the playoffs.
Ooh, man, that's a tough take. I mean, they're 7-3?
7-3, and they're about to lose on Thanksgiving in Jerry World to the Cowboys.
3 more wins, I think, gets you into the playoffs. I think the Giants can squeak out 3 more wins.
I don't. I think they get maybe one or two. I think they go 9-8, and it's going to be an epic collapse. And the Giants are going to miss the playoffs. They're in a tough division. They can go 10-7 and still miss the playoffs in that division.
Yeah, that is true.
And I think the Cowboys, if they win on Thanksgiving, they will complete the season sweep of the New York Giants. So that's a massive game on Thanksgiving. We're in for some great football on Thanksgiving. 2 out of the 3 are going to be great.
Huh.
And one of them is going to be your typical enjoy eating your feast, enjoy your food while the Lions get their ass kicked on Thanksgiving. The old tradition.
Oh, come on, quit hating. What if they win?
um,
If they go 5-6 and knock off the Buffalo Bills, will you start showing them some love?
Yes, I will give the Lions a lot of credit. If they win back to back against the Giants and the Bills, I will give the Lions a ton of credit. I'll go crazy with it. But I'm gonna give you one of my hottest takes. I'll go as hot as I need to go. Bills by double digits. This shit ain't even close on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Raiders Broncos. So I messaged you. The Broncos are up 10-0 in the first half, and I'm like, keep an eye on this game and the Broncos. This might be the game that it all clicks for Denver, and they get it going because they're talented. But they blow it. They're up 10-0. The Raiders rally to beat them 22-16 in overtime. The Broncos completely blow a defensive assignment and leave Devontae Adams wide open for the 35-yard game-winning touchdown in overtime. And the Raiders, who are 3-7, have swept the Broncos. Two of those three wins both came against the Broncos.
Yeah, man, I feel bad for the Bronco fans because like you guys got what you needed. You needed a
Yeah,
quarter, because
yeah,
Drew wasn't getting it done, and you got the trade that you wanted. I mean, obviously you wanted AR-12, but the next best thing out there was Russell Wilson, and
yeah.
you still can't win. I mean, whew, I'd have to be frustrated.
If I had told you back in August before the season had started that week 11 the Broncos and Raiders would be 3-7, you would be like, bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. The Raiders, their roster is talented,
Yep.
and
But,
Carr and Adams, to me, I thought was going to be one of the best duos in the NFL this year.
well, Adams is putting up good stats week in, week out. He's putting up the stats. It's just not, going carrying over to win.
Yeah,
But finally they get a big win. And a credit to the Raiders kicker, Daniel Carlson. He goes 3 for 4 with some big kicks. He makes a 57-yarder in this game that they needed to tie the game. And then he hit the game tying field goal to send it to overtime.
yeah, and man, the Raiders, in my opinion, have just an absolute monster at defensive end in Max Crosby.
Yep, Max Crosby, 2 sacks and a forced fumble, 9 sacks on the season, among the leaders in sacks. Yeah, he's an absolute beast.
And
Um,
yeah,
Denver waves running back Melvin Gordon. Surprising move here, right?
yeah, I don't like that.
Well, and if you look at their running back room now, and interesting because it's also Chase Edmonds, who they added, is out multiple weeks with a high ankle sprain. So the timing seems very weird.
Yeah, I don't agree with releasing Melvin Gordon at all. I mean, I know he has his struggles with holding on to the football and stuff, but at the end of the day, that's your veteran premier back.
It wouldn't surprise me if a team that is trying to make the playoffs and needs a running back signs Melvin Gordon.
Hey, Buffalo, do you hear that?
Yeah, honestly. But, he's got to hang on to the ball. That's the reason why is those fumbles. That's why he was cut.
But man, if you put Melvin Gordon on the Bills, I think that's a big pickup.
I honestly like Devin Singletary, though. And Naheem Hines is pretty good out of the backfield, too.
Yeah, I know. I just add to the depth.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, they're a team to keep an eye on for sure. Um, Nathaniel Hackett, yeah, I mean, after this loss, this is one of those backbreakers that's like, all right, maybe we do need to fire Hackett as soon as possible. And look, here's a bold prediction for you. 3-7 Broncos at the 3-8 Panthers. Sam Darnold getting the start. Bold prediction: if the Broncos lose in Carolina in Week 12, Nathaniel Hackett will be fired post game.
Yeah, I just don't think that the Broncos will lose because the Panthers are bad.
Man, I didn't think the Broncos were going to lose their last 3 games, man. They just keep losing games that they should win. They should have beat the Raiders, bro. At home, the Raiders are bad. That they should have won that game. There's no excuse to lose that.
Okay, so we're talking about Nathaniel Hackett. Is Wilson one and done in Denver already?
No, no. Hackett will get fired. They'll give Russell Wilson 2, 3 years before they move on from Russell. There's too much potential there. they can easily sell the fan base that Hackett was the wrong guy. Let's go get a guy that Russell Wilson likes, and let's see what happens next year,
Yeah,
and upgrade the roster a little bit. I mean, you can do better, You got, Javonte Williams is hurt, so that sucks, but you can add to that, and you can go get some more weapons that Russell Wilson feels familiarity with.
yeah, for sure.
Um, Raiders 3-7 Raiders at the 6-4 Seahawks. Give me Seattle. I think the Raiders are that win is a good win, but the Raiders aren't magically a better team. Give me Seattle at home.
Yep, I'm gonna go Seattle.
And this is the shocker. I didn't pick this game because I legit didn't know where to go. Cowboys at Vikings, 6-3 Dallas at 8-1 Minnesota. I didn't pick it because I don't trust the Cowboys and I don't trust the Vikings. It turned out to be the Vikings who didn't show up, and they get beat 40-3. The game was tied 3-3, and then it just went downhill from there. I mean, what the hell happened, Dustin? You watched this game? I mean, the Vikings just absolutely did not show up. And after the way they played against Buffalo, you would have thought that stadium was going to be loud as hell and the Vikings were going to keep winning.
Yeah, oh man, Detroit just came out and was ready to play, and they looked good.
You mean Dallas?
Or yeah, sorry,
Yeah, you
man.
got to get the lines off your mind. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, Dallas, man. They came out and they looked very good.
Four touchdowns out of the running back position, two from Tony Pollard, two from Zeke Elliott.
Yeah, man. Pollard's not talked about enough, man. That dude he's a
Well,
baller.
after Sunday, he's going to get a lot more conversation. Tony Pollard was a fucking receiving threat. Like, but running past Vikings defenders, Tony Pollard looked amazing. 189 yards.
Absolutely. He definitely should.
Cowboys defense also. I mean, they've got the record for most sacks, most team sacks through 10 weeks in NFL history, or at least the last 20 years. Dorrance Armstrong and Micah Parsons each record 2 sacks. Micah Parsons already with 10 sacks on the season. He had 13 as a rookie, on pace this year for a career high.
Yeah, having a big year.
How about Micah Parsons, man? He's unblockable, and it's not only the sacks; it's creating turnovers and just being a playmaker out there.
He's an unbelievable athlete, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Kirk Cousins held throws for just 105 yards. Dalvin Cook just 72 yards, and a 1 week after calling Justin Jefferson the best receiver in football, Justin Jefferson catches just three for 33 yards.
Yeah, he struggled.
Yeah. But just one of those games, man. In my opinion, burn the tape if you're Minnesota, and come back ready to play in a big Thanksgiving night game. This is why I honestly think the Vikings are gonna get caught napping again. Like I just think I don't think the Vikings are as good as their record indicates, and I think they get beat and start a 2-game losing streak.
I disagree. Minnesota.
All right, Giants Cowboys. Give me Dallas at home to complete the sweep of the Giants and get a big win on Thanksgiving. Do you trust the Cowboys to get this win?
Actually, I'm going with the upset. I'm going New York.
Oh man, don't do that. With all those injuries, don't pick the Giants. The Giants, like I said, the Giants are going to miss the playoffs, in my opinion.
Saquon's gonna go crazy.
Nah, Tony Pollard and Zeke Elliott are going to go crazy. That's who. Bengals Steelers. The Bengals go into Pittsburgh and defeat the Steelers 37-30 to split the series. Big win for Cincy. They couldn't afford to lose this game, and they would have been swept by the Steelers in the season. So, big win for the Bengals. Joe Burrow throws for 350 plus, 4 touchdowns, 2 picks. Big game from Samaje Perine, 3 touchdowns. Um, Big win for the Bengals to get to 6-4, huh?
Yeah, big win.
How are you feeling about Cincy? I mean, the Ravens are, in my opinion, I believe you said it before. The Ravens are the favorite to win the division. Can the Bengals get into the playoffs as a wild card and be a scary team, to face early in the playoffs?
I believe so because if they get into the playoffs, Chase will be back, right?
Yeah, Chase will be back soon. Burrow lit it up in the playoffs last year, so they're one of those teams. If they sneak in, no one's gonna want to play Cincy in the playoffs.
And I mean, we've seen at times just how explosive they could be.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Trey Hendrickson records his sixth sack of the season, on pace for a third straight year of double-digit sacks. Um, TJ Watt records his second interception of the season, the sixth of his career. Good to see TJ Watt back out there.
Yeah,
Um, so I mean, TJ Watt is going to be something to keep an eye on for Steelers Colts, but Colts should take care of business, get that win.
yeah, but TJ Watt is scary.
Yep. And then Bengals Titans, give me the Titans. You got Cincy, did you say?
Yes, I'm gonna take Cincinnati.
All right. Sunday night football, the 7-2 Chiefs at the 5-4 Chargers. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams both back from injury. So I picked the Chargers to win this game. They needed it to split the series and to cool off the red hot Chiefs, but Chargers, despite leading 20-13 at halftime, lose to the Chiefs 30-27. Clutch Patrick Mahomes gets it done again on the final drive. Um, I had beef though with one call where Derwin James is called for defensive holding on Travis Kelce on the final drive. Again, man, this is what I don't like is that the NFL refs have too much power and they can throw this flag whenever they want. Very similar to the Super Bowl. It's third down, it's about to be fourth down, and you throw a flag that bails out the quarterback and gives them an automatic first down. This one was a hold. I'll agree, it was a hold on Derwin James. But man, all game long, they were letting these teams be physical on the outside and letting them play. And then you wait until the final drive to throw the flag. I don't like that. You know what I mean?
I mean, I agree to a certain point, but I mean, that's that.
Tell me this. Did what Derwin James did here affect the outcome of the play?
I mean, it gave the Chiefs what 10 yards and the opportunity to win the ball game, right?
Well, yeah, 5 yards, automatic first, yes. But did the hold itself affect the play?
From what I see, no,
No, not at
but
all.
I mean, they've been pretty consistent all season long with
I
calling that.
disagree on that. I disagree they've been consistent. In fact, they've been inconsistent all year. And all inconsistent all game, in fact, because like I said, there was holding all game in the secondary, and it wasn't called until the final drive when precious baby Mahomes was about to have a fourth down. Then we get the flag. That's my
Would they have
issue.
called? Oh, okay, I think they would have called it the other way too, though, if that was Justin Herbert.
Yes, but why are we bailing out quarterback? Why are we not calling penalties all game long, and then it gets the final drive? We're bailing out quarterbacks because of what? Because we want the narrative that the quarterback had a game-winning drive. Is that what we want?
I
That's what
don't.
I don't like. Whether it's Herbert, Mahomes, Stafford, Rodgers, you know me. I've always kept it consistent. I don't care who it is. I don't like it when the officials bail out a superstar quarterback just because they want to see heroics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've seen it many times with Tom Brady though too.
Yeah, I've been consistent there too. You don't bail out a quarterback like that, and I hate to see it. So, but regardless, Mahomes leads them on a game-winning drive, and then Herbert can't. with 30 seconds left. Chris Jones gets a big sack to pretty much seal it. He records 2 sacks, 9 sacks on the season for Chris Jones.
Yeah,
He's a
another guy
monster.
having a big season.
Yeah. Everyone
So
talks about Aaron Donald, man. Chris Jones, in my opinion, is in that same conversation, don't you think?
yeah, for sure. Um, so can I talk about something for real quick here, Alex?
Yeah.
I talked about Josh Allen being MVP, but man, Patrick Mahomes is having a damn good year.
Yeah, he is. And it might come down to record. If the Bills are everyone's favorite, right, to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and Josh Allen is the MVP favorite, keep an eye on this, bro. This is something that's the Chiefs are 8-2, likely to be 9-2. They're red hot. I could give a shit about who wins MVP. I mean, Mahomes, Josh Allen, whoever. What if the Chiefs end up with home field advantage in the playoffs? And then, once again, for the third time in a row, the Bills would have to go through Arrowhead to go to the Super Bowl.
That's what the Bills don't need or want.
Exactly. That should be their biggest fear.
And see, so is it fair to say we were both wrong when we said the Chiefs were going to take a step back?
Yes, but you know what would have helped the Chiefs take a step back if the division was more competitive, and it just hasn't been, plain and simple. The reason we thought the Chiefs were going to take a step back is because we were hyping up the Raiders, Broncos, and Chargers. And frankly, the Chargers are 500 and not that scary, and the Raiders and Broncos both suck. So it makes it a lot easier for the Chiefs when the division around them sucks, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
That's 6 wins right there if you sweep the division. And then to their credit, what they did beat up on the 49ers. The Chiefs have taken care of business. But they're going to be playing the Rams likely without Matthew Stafford, and the Rams are bad, so there's a win. So the chips have just fallen the Chiefs' way this year. Do I think the Chiefs are a better team than they were last year? No, I do not. But they're still damn good.
Are they
They've still got Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy, Patrick Mahomes, and Travis Kelsey.
are they title contenders?
Absolutely, yes. As long as you have Andy Reid, Mahomes, Kelsey, you're a title contender every year. So, um, but that's the big thing to keep an eye on is home field now. And I said that's the Bills' biggest fear. Honestly, the Bills have other fears, and that's the Miami Dolphins and New England Patriots. Before the Bills need to worry about the number one overall seed and who wins MVP, the Bills need to take care of that division because that division is tight.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
and
And
it, yeah,
I told you about them Dolphins, bro. I'm telling you, those Miami Dolphins are title contenders.
there. I don't. I. That's where we disagree. I don't think the Dolphins are title contenders. Um, I think they're division contenders though, and if the Bills get caught napping, they might lose the division. And then the Jets and Patriots are frankly one game behind of both, so that division's all right there. The
Uh,
reason the Dolphins aren't contenders is because of Mark McDaniel, the rookie head coach. I mean Mike McDaniel, but Mark Trestman. You know what I mean?
um, yeah, it it's actually flipped. When we thought it was going to be the AFC West that was going to be
Yeah.
competitive, ends up being the AFC South.
Yep. Or you mean AFC East? Yeah, I mean, yeah, so it's going to be interesting, but we're starting to see the narratives take place, and Kansas City is just as much a threat in the AFC as anybody. Um, Chargers at Cardinals, the 5-5 Chargers at the 4-7 Cardinals. Prediction time, bro. Give me the Arizona Cardinals to beat the Chargers.
Ooh, I will not choose the Arizona Cardinals.
All right, you got the Chargers.
The
That
Cardinals
is
are bad.
the Cardinals are bad. This is me indicating how much I don't trust the LA Chargers at all. I do not trust this team. They are talented all across the board, but I don't trust them to find ways to win games.
You trust Arizona more though?
In one game at home in Arizona, yes. I think Kyler Murray plays, and frankly, Colt McCoy could beat the Chargers.
Ooh,
Give me the Cardinals.
I know that I wasn't having a good night on the podcast, but boy,
Hey, I'm gonna be having a good night when these all get right. But yeah, man, I don't trust the Chargers at all, and I don't think they make the playoffs again.
I don't see playoffs either, but they are levels above the Arizona Cardinals, bro.
Maybe so, but you know how it goes. Any given Sunday, any team can win.
That is absolutely true, but I I just think that Arizona is in a whole different type of, you know, I think
Well,
they want to lose also.
no, I don't because Cliff Kingsbury is on the hot seat. He's fighting for his job. I don't think the Cardinals are trying to lose. The Rams are. I don't think the Cardinals are.
He's already gone, bro. As soon as
But not
that's
in his mind. In Cliff Kingsbury's mind, he's fighting tooth and nail to keep his job. And he knows if he can sneak into the playoffs, he might be able to stick around.
I just don't see them sneaking in there though, bro. Like
Me neither. Me neither. But for one game, absolutely. And what does it say about the Chargers that you are admitting right there that you don't think they're a playoff team for the third year in a row under Brandon Staley and Justin Herbert? What does that say about the Chargers? Let's be real, because the national media loves the Chargers. And I got some heat for talking shit about Herbert. And it's like, bro, what has Herbert shown us? Is not the quarterback position about winning football games, most importantly. To me, Herbert's throwing up a bunch of empty stats and has yet to lead his team to a playoff game.
yeah, I mean, that's true, but I put this one on Staley, bro. I mean,
They go hand in hand. Like, I want to put it on Cliff Kingsbury, but we have to blame Kyler Murray too. In the same way that I blame Brandon Staley, but I'm putting some blame on Herbert too. As much as we fall in love with some of Herbert's throws and his fourth down conversions, we need to keep that same energy for some of his missed throws, some of his inaccurate throws, right?
yeah, I agree. And to me, on, on paper this season, I thought they were going to be the most talented wise.
We thought they were potentially a contender, right?
Yeah,
When you
absolutely.
add
I mean,
Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson, right? And then you got Mike Williams and Keenan Allen,
and
and then
both
you got Gerald Everett. Yeah, you got Bosa. You got even
Austin.
Josh Palmer is a hell of a third option at receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So no excuses. I'm tired of the excuses being made for the LA Chargers and Justin Herbert. I'm sick of it. Let's
you,
start being holding them accountable.
you have to understand, bro. That's LA media is always gonna rule over any other media. You know,
Yeah,
so
but I want LA media to be fucking straightforward and call it for what it is. And crowning the Chargers as this great team when they can't even make the playoffs every year is not a good look. National media has their narratives that they're not always accurate with them, you know?
let's say that they miss the playoffs. Is this it for Staley or?
It should be. If they miss the playoffs, I would be firing Brandon Staley and I'd be trying to give Justin Herbert someone like Sean Payton.
Oh,
Then if Sean Payton comes in there and Herbert starts putting up numbers and winning games, Alex will shut the hell up. But Alex is going to keep talking until they start winning games.
which is very, you win and you shut people up. That's what they need.
Exactly. That's my mindset. I'm not afraid to shut the hell up, but prove it to me first, right?
Yep.
Um 5-4 49ers at the 4-6 Cardinals on Monday night in rainy Mexico City. How'd you like the Mexico City game?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, the fans were all out. They were having a blast. It sucks that Kyler Murray couldn't go. He was out with a hamstring injury. So Colt McCoy gets a start. But Colt McCoy honestly runs the offense not too bad. Like he's got a good timing and chemistry with DeAndre Hopkins, you know?
Yeah.
And then a big game from Greg Dortch. Catches 9 for 100 plus yards. It's Greg Dortch's first career 100-yard game.
Nice.
But all that being said, it was not a close game. It was a decent game, 17-10 at halftime, but the Niners pull away in the second half, winning 38-10. What does this say about the 49ers? I know the Cardinals aren't that good, but man, the 49ers look good right now, huh?
Yeah. 49ers, I mean, I know, we've been talking about Patriots and stuff being dangerous, but man, out of the NFC, the 49ers are to me the most dangerous team in the NFL.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you, who do you think is the best team out of the NFC? The Niners are only 6-4, but their record does not indicate how good that team is.
No, but what what makes me think that they're still not the best team in the NFC is that loss to the Chiefs, man. I didn't like it.
Well, let me say this. I'm not worried about that. It's one of those regular season losses that doesn't really concern me too much. If they get a rematch in the Super Bowl, I'm not picking the Chiefs based on that game. You know, like
Yeah,
screw a regular season game. Give me because the Chiefs beat the Bucks pretty bad in 2020 in the regular season game, and they met in the Super Bowl. And remember what happened? So like, I can I wouldn't put too much in that bad game. Um, it just got out of hand late. It was a good game. The first half
I
and
want to
all
say,
that.
bro,
What?
what I want to say is if Jimmy G takes them to the Super Bowl again, then he might just have to be the starter going into next year.
Yeah, I mean, he's betting on himself, right? And he stayed. No one expected Garoppolo to stay. He took a pay cut to be the backup. He could have said, "Trade me, and I'll go start somewhere else." But he's took a backup role, banked on getting opportunity to play, and here he is, killing it like always.
He's a
And
bro. That's what he
yeah,
is, a winner.
yeah, and you give the Niners, you get the Niners into the playoffs, and I'll pick them against damn near anybody. They've
That
proven they can go into Lambeau. They've proven they can go into LA and hang with anybody.
okay. What would you say if the Niners had to go to Tampa? Who are you picking?
I'm gonna pick the Bucks, but I mean, to me, that's a toss up. Like, and to me, it would come down to I'm picking the Bucks because if the Niners got the lead and there's 2 minutes left on the clock and Brady's got the ball, I'm not betting against Brady. But the Niners are the better team, and I'm picking the Niners to beat Dallas. I'm picking the Niners to beat, most teams. But imagine Niners at Eagles NFC Championship game. That would be a hell of a game.
Yeah, who would you pick in that instance? If it was if it was in Philly.
Well, I'm gonna ask you. You know me. I'm a big prove it guy. I like to base my picks on what I've seen before. Who do you think I would pick? Niners at Eagles.
I'm gonna say Niners just because Jimmy's been there before.
Yep. Jimmy, not only Jimmy, but Kyle Shanahan.
Yep.
And if I would give Kyle Shanahan like three greater than signs in a matchup against Nick Sirianni.
And man, McCaffrey's really been playing well too.
Yes, he is a game changer. And you add him to, and guess who else is stepping up? Brandon Ayuk,
Yep.
you know? So you're talking Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, McCaffrey. who's that other running back? Mitchell. He's
Yep.
doing his thing, you know?
And then
Elijah Mitchell. They got weapons everywhere in San Francisco.
it's Bosa,
Yeah.
Warner, right?
Man, you know who's really impressing me lately? DJ Greenlaw.
Yes.
He's a monster. Um, did you see DeAndre Hopkins called for taunting for pointing at two defenders?
Yeah.
Man, if the NFL doesn't get rid of this stupid ass rule, I hate it, bro. And Twitter loses its mind every time it's called. All the former players are like, "What the fuck?" It's so shitty, man. Since when is pointing at players a taunting call?
Yeah, I agree.
I hate it. Get that shit out of the fucking game. Um, Cliff Kingsbury, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. This is the final year for Cliff Kingsbury. He's fired. I don't know what the Cardinals were thinking when they extended him, but he's gone. If this team misses the playoffs, he's got to go. And do you agree with on that?
Yeah, I mean, you can't keep missing the playoffs and stuff,
Exactly.
and it's not like the Cardinals don't have the talented roster because they do.
Exactly. You got JJ Watt. You got Buda Baker. You got all these guys.
You know,
You got Isaiah Simmons, you know?
yeah,
They got guys everywhere. You got D Hop, you got Rondale Moore, you got Hollywood Brown, Kyler Murray, Zach Ertz. I know a
and
lot of these guys are hurt, but shit.
and I think like low key, I mean, it's not being said, but Kyler Murray, I think would rather them move on too.
Yes, 100%. And who would you give Kyler Murray? Two options I wrote down: Byron Leftwich and Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, those are one of the guys, because one of those guys was my choice for Denver,
Yep.
or get a more veteran head coach in Denver. Man, I don't know why it still bugs me. Like, man, put Flores in Denver or Flores
Flores.
a head coaching job.
Who's Flores?
Brian Flores.
Oh, okay. My mind was blanking on that. Yeah, man. Brian Flores, he'll get back in soon. Someone will hire him because of what he did in Miami.
Or Jim Caldwell, bro. Man, I think he could do wonders with Russell Wilson.
Oh, absolutely. Caldwell and Russell Wilson will work. Caldwell and Kyler Murray wouldn't, but Caldwell and Russell would. Kyler needs a player friendly coach
Yes.
because he's going to talk back too much. Jim Caldwell will knock him in his mouth. Say, what'd you say, young punk?
and
Um,
and Arizona, do not go to the college rankings either.
unless you can get Jim Harbaugh, but I highly doubt it.
Well, there's always that one other name out there speculating that NFL teams will go after, and I think he would leave it, and that's Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, Lincoln Riley and Kyler Murray would be cool, but I doubt Lincoln Riley. I think he's got a pretty good thing going on there at USC.
Yeah, but every coach's dream is eventually coaching the NFL, bro.
Yeah, even Urban Myers, right?
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
So, I mean, yeah, 49ers, they play the Saints next week, so they should be able to get that win, get to 7-4, and that's when we'll start to see the Niners. I think the month of December here, the Niners start to pull away and win that division pretty easily, you know?
Yeah,
But I mean, you got anything to add? I mean, this was fun. I mean, the NFL is really starting to heat up. Storylines everywhere. Potential Stafford retirement, talking coaching changes, all kinds of shit going on in the league right now.
yeah, man. I mean, the whole year's been wild if you
Yeah.
think. Something to add is after the holiday, OBJ I think could be signed, and
Yes.
I in my opinion, I think he's going to go to Dallas, and that's going to be scary.
Someone else was talking about it. Didn't they just have a wide receiver injury? Um, I forget. Oh, the Giants. We're talking about OBJ.
Yeah.
Dallas. You said that. Are you? Did you say the Cowboys?
Yes.
Yeah. Cowboys are a team to keep an eye on. The Giants also. Um, God forbid the Chiefs.
No. Stay away from there, please.
God forbid the Bucks.
How about the Bills?
Yeah, the Bills are an option too. A lot of people predicted the Bills. If
So
you know, I honestly think the Bills should add someone, whether it's OBJ or Melvin Gordon. The Bills should because the Bills are teetering on not winning that division. The Bills better make sure they win that division. That's all I gotta say.
yeah. One last thing. Also, Parsons and Ezekiel Elliott and a couple other guys are trying to basically recruit and talk OBJ into coming because he had posted something on Twitter talking about the Cowboys had an offensive explosion and then Michael Parsons like come home bro, come home.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep, they need to. The honestly, if anyone needs OBJ the most, it's probably the Cowboys. Well, I think it's the Giants because of all the injuries, but a realistic team, the Cowboys. Yeah. So
Um,
we'll see.
he goes to the Cowboys though. That's a crazy offense.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you can never have too much firepower going into the playoffs. You know. How excited are you for Thanksgiving? Great food. We get to stuff ourselves and then watch good football all day long.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm excited. I can the only I mean I've been trying to drop weight and this is the only time of the year where I can be fat. So
Bro, I stuff myself. I'm skinny, but I stuff myself. Even when I'm full, I keep eating pumpkin pie and shit. It's Thanksgiving. Smoke good weed, eat tons of food, and watch football all day. It's okay.
yeah, and it's like we take leftovers and just eat turkey sandwiches with bread and stuff throughout the weekend when it's more football.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, two great games. Patriots, Vikings, and Giants, Cowboys. That's gonna be must-watch football on Thanksgiving, and a lot of storylines will be affected by that. So good shit as always, man. A fun episode, and can't wait till next week too.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. We're getting down to the big time where these games matter.
Absolutely. Favorite time of the year, Thanksgiving going forward. December football, and then January when it's win or go home. So favorite time of the year. Appreciate all the support, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Keep supporting us. Stay tuned. We're working on getting some big name interviews. And appreciate all you guys. Have a great Thanksgiving. Have a great week. Enjoy all the good football. And peace out.